Hello there! Welcome back to another video! This week we're going over part 4 of my 5-part series which depicts me growing up. This week we're going over me at age 18, and I've got to say this is the one that I kind of finagled with all the other kind of age stages in order to kind of get a video where we would go over this age or somewhere around this age, because between age 17 and 19 I was sort of really growing out my hair. I started dyeing it, and I think 18, 19 in particular, it was extremely long and very red, and I was so very happy with it because even though it was quite long, I think I maintained it quite healthy. I did struggle a bit with figuring out the pose for this one, because even though it feels like it's just yesterday that I was 18, like it doesn't feel like it was long ago to warrant it like kind of a disassociation to when I was 18 to when I was 7, but it has been quite a while now, sort of. Like, not as long as it's been since I was 15 or that kind of thing, but it's still a while. So in the end I kind of did this sort of lounging, sit on the floor looking at the camera, smiling kind of thing. I picked a very comfortable outfit that I see myself wearing quite frequently. 18 to now is really the kind of era of long sleeves, because I've been in Canada. Before this episode, when I was 15, I was in like Panama, Brazil. Before that it was like other places, so warm places, South America places. But here it's been in Canada, and it gets quite cold here. It's renowned to do so. So long sleeves and a lounging pose. The feet gave me a lot of trouble, because I know that this is kind of pose that you can't sit in with one knee propped up and then one leg stretched out. But having the legs stretched out kind of makes you have to position your ankle a bit weird for your feet to be lying flat. Otherwise it's your foot sticking straight up if your legs lying flat, but I didn't want that kind of a thing. And yeah, originally I think I was going to have myself facing straight forward, but then I ended up changing it. Like right there you see me start kind of rotating the head a little bit to be 3/4 view. I don't think any of these growing up series videos ended up having me looking straight on, because I don't know, I felt like it would just show the nose nicer to have the 3/4 view. And I mentioned last week that I ended up falling into the trap of the hipster glasses, and here we get to see that. And yeah, hipster glasses, it wasn't by choice, but now it's sort of inevitable, and I still wear the same hipster glasses. There goes the long hair. It really was that long. Some people might think that, oh, this is like Sailor Moon shoujo kind of unrealistic anime hair, but no, it was, I think it might have even been longer than this, because right before I cut it, because I chopped it all off, I went like really short. After I turned, I think it was 19 and a half that summer, I cut it really short just to see how it was, and I'm still working on growing it back out. But there were points right before I cut it that I would accidentally sit on my hair. It was so long. And yeah, I think it's that funny. Like, see that the foot's just kind of broken? I think this is kind of the final sketch stage, but it didn't look that weird in the end, I promise. At least I think so. I'm quite happy with the way that those jeans came out though. I think the folds look really natural. It's been since I started getting into my sketchbook more seriously that I've gotten kind of looser with the way that I do wrinkles. It's just kind of a zigzag and hope for the best with wrinkles in me, but I think it kind of works. You can see on the side there on my layers tab that I have the folders with age 5, age 12 and age 15. The videos are already up on my channel if you haven't seen them, if you want to look at me drawing the other episodes of this series. The hair, I think the hair and the face are probably my favourite parts of this one. Like, this illustration isn't like my favourite in the series, but it's also not anything I'm not happy with. Obviously if I weren't happy with it I would have like fixed it until I was at least somewhat happy with it. But I think 18 right now, it's at this point in my life where I look back at being 18 and I think, oh, that was a good time, or I really liked the way that I was at that stage, because it's long enough ago to have a kind of separation from it, but not so long as to kind of the whole blocking. Because when you block memories, they end up coming back to you, but it takes a while for them to come back to you. So the memories that I blocked of that stage have not come back to me yet. So it's still kind of covered in a golden glow of happiness and adventuring and some responsibility, but not too much responsibility, all the freedom I wanted. And yeah, it was a good time being 18. I enjoyed being 18 for half of it, at least. There was the other half that was kind of, but that wasn't because I was 18, that was because of where I was and what I was doing, kind of, that was beyond my control. Second half of being 18 was awesome. Being 19 was also awesome. I feel like the feet did not look this broken in the final thing, but maybe it's because when you're zoomed out they don't look broken. I really like the way that the foot on the side that's closer to the camera looks, because it looks like it's slightly tilted towards you, which is how it kind of would be with your knee propped up like that. I don't know, that made me really happy. And that shirt, I don't own that exact shirt even though I drew myself in it, but I really like that shirt. And then we're getting into the lighter jeans phase, because when I was 12 I drew the drawing I did of me at 12. I had some darker jean shorts, even though the real life version of those jean shorts are lighter, and then these jeans are just some plain denim jeans. I think I have like 3 of them. We're starting off with shading. I'm still going back to the age 5 me to pick out the colours for hair, skin kind of stuff, eyes, and yeah, I think I was a little bit out of practice, because until this one, all the other hairstyles were a lot shorter, even me at 15, and then here it went like really long. I had like room for, I think in age 15 I did 2 rounds of highlights, and here we did 3 rounds of highlights because it was just that long. And then here comes with the red, because I have had it dyed red. Even now in the next one, the last one, you'll see I have the red ends. Right now it's a little bit faded, I need to retouch it, but I do keep my ends red. I just really don't feel like myself anymore if I don't have the red in my hair, and I don't like having it all red, because then it just feels like it's not me anymore. But having the red in my ends really makes me feel like myself and like I'm comfortable. After I cut my hair and I've been growing it out, it was too short for me to want to dye for a while, and I didn't realise how unlike myself I felt until I did dye it again. This hand, I'm also really happy how it turned out. I feel like you can sort of really see the weight of the hand on the floor, kind of the way that your tissue and muscles kind of mush into the ground when there's pressure on it. And yeah, all around this has been a really fun series. I know it's the second to last, it's not the last, it's not time for final thoughts just yet, but I've been really happy to draw this series, make these videos, talk about, reminisce, have nostalgia. It might be a bit narcissistic to draw so much of myself, but I mean, it's a nice little project. I really recommend this kind of project for anyone who's kind of grappling on some sort of thing to want to draw. You might want to do a couple multi-part something or other, but you can't really think of something and you don't want anything too overwhelming like a comic or something like that. Back with the ring that I've been drawing since the age 12 one, age 15, and now age 18. I still wear it at age 21, so it's going to continue appearing, that ring, even though my brother hates it to bits. I think I drew my jaw a little bit more defined, because I don't think that I connected the jaw bit to the chin bit in the other ones, and this one's a bit more connected because by this point my bone structure is kind of what my bone structure is. I'm not going to be like growing out anymore in terms of bones. I might get a bit chubbier or a bit less chubby, who knows, but bones are pretty much what they're going to be until they start shrinking at this point. And yeah, the shading was quite simple here. I don't know why I left up the age 5 thing behind me for so long. I wasn't really using it to eyedrop or anything anymore, I don't think, but I guess I forgot to hide it at some point. I just didn't really mind it, because like looking at it now, as in looking at the recording of it, it feels like it's a bit disoriented, but when you're in the zone, when you're actually doing the drawing, your eyes get really good at focusing on what it needs to focus on. There we go, good job on hiding it. Your eyes get really good at focusing on what they need to focus on, so it's not that much of a distraction to have something like that. And we're about finishing up here. The colour that I picked for the drop shadow was a purple, and then the gradient is going to be the sunset gradient. The sunset gradient's gonna appear again. The sunset gradient's also what I use in my end card. That's when I started doing this whole sunset gradient thing with like my end card and stuff like that, so I felt it fitting to add it to this. But thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, consider subscribing, leave a comment on what you think of the series, and I'll see you all next week.